How's everybody doing today? Yeah? Are you excited for VidCon? Yeah. Who's excited? Let me see you raise your hand. How many of you is this your first year here? Wow. This is lots of breaking. We're going to have a good time. So welcome to the panel today. This is a panel about a family that vlogs together, stays together. So I just want to ask, how many of you have a vlogging channel? How many of you are fans of some people that are going to be here today? That's great. Okay, so we have two families that were invited on this panel that unfortunately couldn't make it. So Shaun and the AD family. But we found some good replacements for them. So we have the Familyfunpack here. How many of you know who they are? Yeah, okay. And Danny Lumps will be here shortly. So as a stand-in, I have my wife, McKnight, for cute little hairstyles. And doing some rotating. Oh, there they are. Here's the Danny Lumps. Come on up.
Hey guys! Thanks for keeping our seats warm, girls.
Great, so let's start first. We have the Daily Bumps here. These are parents Brian and Missy Lanning, and they have their two children with them on their channel. And they started their channel on December 31st. I gotta ask you why that date, in 2012. So just in a few short years, their channel is averaging about 68 million views a month. That's pretty impressive, right? Okay, next we have Familyfunpack. Parents Matt and Christine Hepworth and their children, their 5 children, they began their channel on October 3rd, 2011. Their channel currently is the second most viewed YouTube channel for Two Filter, averaging 480 million views a month. To put that in perspective, we've been doing this since 2008, our family, and we're not even double that. So they're doing pretty well in 1 month's time.
Slaying.
Okay, so let's just start off first. We're talking about vlogging. Why don't you each take about 2 minutes and tell us how you discovered YouTube and why you wanted to start your vlogging channel.
Hey guys. Hi. So I think about 2013. Yeah, I think it's 2013. I just started watching YouTube. I was pregnant, and I was like, what are other people doing? And so I kind of just started watching these girls and kind of getting to know them. I started to really almost bond with the girls, even though they didn't know me. And I just thought this was such a cool experience to be able to share your story. And soon after that, I kind of went through my own struggles. And then once I got pregnant with Oliver, my first son, I just kind of was like, you know what? I want to share my story. I want to talk about it. Because whatever happens, if I end up going through my struggles again, I want to be able to share it and kind of go through this with other women as well. So that's why I found YouTube, and then that's how it basically started. I was just like, I want to share my story. I want to connect with other girls as well.
Brian, that's the same for you?
Well, when we made the decision to start the daily channel, she already had a pretty good following on her mommy channel, and people just wanted to see more and more. So we had watched maybe 1 or 2 other daily vloggers. We weren't really sure what we were getting ourselves into when we were starting that. But I think we were in the mentality of, hey, we can do that, and hey, that sounds fun. And she's pregnant, so it'd be awesome to dive into that journey. And now we have 1,300 videos of Oliver's entire life. Pretty incredible.
We have 400. Okay, go ahead. Familyfunpack.
Our start's a little bit different. I didn't really have any social media. Sorry. Okay. I wasn't on social media at all, and I was looking to share my family's life with my kids' parents because they live out of state. We didn't see it very often. And I used to send his mom pictures once or twice a week of my kids. And the twins were 18 months old, and they were kind of cute. And I was like, I wish I could just see the kids. And I couldn't email a video because videos were too big to email back in the day, a couple years ago. So anyway, I remember my friend had this thing, she did YouTube, and she put a video up and shared it with me once, so I was like, I'm going to do that too. So I put a video up of the twins going to bed, and I put a video up of my daughter playing the piano and singing, and I emailed them to my mother-in-law. And my assumption was that YouTube was like this cycle, and you put something up and it's on the top of the list, and then it just goes away. So I just sat there, I didn't remember the password, I just kind of like let it go. And like 6 months later, I was thinking, gosh, I wonder what happened to that video. So I went back on YouTube to check on the video, and it had 1 million views. And I was really actually mad. I was like, oh my gosh, like who in the heck looked at my video? And of course, because like I said, I didn't write the password down because I thought it was unimportant. I couldn't get the video down because I was going to take the video down so no one would look at my, Anyway, so that was that. My brother-in-law was like, no, this is great, leave it up there. I'm like, okay. So I did, and then over the next 2 years, we didn't really do much on YouTube. We just kind of like, whatever, and then we got more serious about it. Like when we had our last son, Michael, we just started doing a lot more, realizing it was actually fun to make videos, and that kind of spiraled our channel.
So Matt, were you freaking out too?
Yeah, a little bit. I was kind of excited about it. Like, to me, it wasn't about making a business. It was like, well, let's make a cool video that people will watch. People watch crazy stuff on YouTube, and they saw the way our twins finally grid or flipped over. I think that's cool. I like it a lot of views. So for me, it was just kind of like that.
Maybe how about you?
So for me, I actually started as a blogger back in the day, and I was just styling my daughter's hair in the morning, doing lots of hairstyles on them, and it didn't really resonate well on picture. It was much harder, so we created a video to demonstrate a couple of these hairstyles, and then ultimately the videos did so well that we created Cute Girls Hairstyles, the channel on YouTube, and that took off. And as some of you guys know, we now add vlogs on our Cute Girls Hairstyles channel as well, because people come for the hair and stay for the family. So same kind of deal, like people are just so interested in what's behind the braids, behind the hair, that they're asking us all the time, so we decided to start vlogging our family as well.
Okay, so one of the top questions bloggers are asked has to do with online safety when it comes to our children. So, Missy, many bloggers have this question about how and when you felt comfortable sharing more about your kids online. Can you speak to that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I think that when we started, we were really not really. I think when we started, we just really weren't sure what we were getting ourselves into. We kind of did all the rookie mistakes, vlogging our license plates, vlogging outside of our car, outside of our house, vlogging outside of our work, and just showing everything. Yeah, we didn't know, and slowly we just started to learn like the do's and don'ts and how to keep yourself a little bit more safe and a little more just secure, especially when you have kids. So we just started making our rules and really sticking to them, and just trying not to share too much, but also still being able to share enough, that we want to share.
Yeah, I think it's not something that you can really teach about, or like if someone started YouTube, you can't really go in front of them and say, hey, don't do all these things. Yeah, there are little things you can do, but the things you learn along the way are a lot more important than what someone can tell you right at the start and right off. So that was just kind of one of those things you have to learn along the way.
Christine, how about you guys?
I think I had a lot of similar experiences to you guys. Like things in the background of videos are like, oh shoot, like birth certificates or whatever, just on the wall, things that you don't necessarily want to share, because even though there's lots of really, really nice people out there, there's also some creepers out there. And you don't want everyone knowing your children's first, middle, and last name necessarily, or where you live and the floor plan of your house. So we try to be careful if you're going to do a house tour, maybe like don't completely walk and show exactly how to go ever, maybe do a cut in your video so you're not, giving away too much information.
For us, and I'll have Minnie speak to this, we're in a different situation, and our children are much older, and as vloggers, we kind of face a different set of circumstances, and so I'll have Minnie kind of explain what we do.
Not sure where he's going with that.
Kids in high school.
Okay, so when we first started, we started back when YouTube was kind of new, and so nobody really knew what this space was going to be like or do safety-wise. Because we had small kids, we were really, really overprotective. Like we didn't even use their first names when we first started. We just called them all by a number. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so for us, it was definitely an evolution. Like from not showing their faces and not using their names at all to now, obviously vlogging and letting people really into our lives in a very, very much more intrusive way. Of course, we do all the same. I am sure that all of us have our own rules, no license plates, no addresses, things like that that are the obvious, no house tours, things like that. But for us, one of the problems that we run into having just a little bit older kids is that even what we can control can't be controlled by everybody. So for example, our kids go to school and they're on their drill team at school, and people that see them performing on their drill team snap pictures of them in their uniforms. And whether we want them to know which high school they go to or not, the world knows which high school they go to because other people share that information. And so, we as parents can control this little tiny bubble that we live in, but unfortunately our kids go to school outside that bubble, and they go to church outside that bubble, and their friends live outside that bubble, and so pretty soon information's filtering in those different directions whether we want it to or not. So for us, we just try to be really careful. We in particular don't use like high school names. We just try to be sensitive to it. Obviously we're not going to share their phone numbers, and I think the people that our kids surround themselves with, they kind of know that we have rules. They know that we can't share our children's phone numbers without their permission. People are generally pretty respectful of that unless you just really have a jerk that you're around that's going to just do it just because. But, do you want to say anything more?
Nope, that's it.
So yeah, it just gets a little harder, I think, when your kids get older if you're vlogging. That's, I guess, the point, because it becomes a little less controllable.
Hey Matt, so here's a question for you. As daily vloggers, vloggers here want to know, what is a good rule of thumb for when you should quit your normal job to do this? Because it's demanding to be a daily vlogger. How many of you do daily vlogs? There's a few out there, okay? It's demanding to do this. How do you know when to cut and be able to spend that time to develop your own business?
I don't know that I have a magical answer for that. It has to be different for everyone depending on your situation. Like we have 5 children, and I was a full-time math teacher for 10 years in California, and I didn't retire from that or resign from that until last November. So, for example, we were probably already in the, I want to say, top 10 in YouTube by the time I stopped teaching. And so, not to say that you have to, make it that far before you stop, but I've seen a lot of people, though, who as soon as they start to get in those growth stages of their channel, they're quitting their full-time job. I'm a lawyer, I'm doing stuff. And I'm thinking, what are you doing, As soon as and so I don't get that. So you definitely want to be wise about what you're doing. You never know when you're going to reach the top of your channel and start to go down. Things come and go. Things become popular and not popular. So my only advice is to be wise and be sure you know what you're doing when you're going to make that big step. Okay.
So the panel title is A Family That Vlogs Together Stays Together. And Brian and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Recently there have been some pretty large vloggers who have broken up their relationship and stated that vlogging put so much pressure on them that it was a huge reason why they decided to break up. So with the title being what it is now, we have a few families here that have managed to do it for a long time, and a lot of people want to know what's the secret. So the Lemmings, what do you do in your home to prevent that from happening between you two?
I think in our home there's a pretty clear distinction of what we're doing to make the video and what we're doing as a family. We balance those pretty well. I think not being like overtly kind or romantic just to make a special video. I think for my relationship with Missy, it's important that I do things for her and don't vlog. And so that's kind of one thing that we got to, is just having a balance of what we vlog and don't vlog, I think, so that the audience knows that we're being authentic when we are vlogging.
I think also we've kind of set some really basic rules as far as schedule. Sometimes we will make sure that we vlog, more in the morning, and then at night that's our family time, that's me and him time, and that's we're not vlogging that. And it's just because there are, as a vlogger, and when it's every single day, you have to kind of put up those boundaries so that you are being authentic to your family and to your relationship. I think that's just really, really important. And like you said, just having, when he does things for me, not always vlog it. It doesn't have to be vlogged. That's just between me and him.
I think too, if we did vlog our day from the time we woke up to the time we went to bed, even really well edited, it'd be probably 30, 40 minutes. So there's a lot of room to breathe as a daily vlogger. There's a lot of content. So sometimes by noon we're like, wow, we did so much, like we're done for the day, and then we'll end it later that night.
Well, from what I know of you guys are very interesting. There's a lot more to you than just what you see in the vlogs, and that's good for you. And everybody else out here is going, wait, we want to see more. Good for you, that's really important. How about you two? What do you do to prevent that stress of, I gotta get a video out, let's do something about that? What do you do to keep that at bay?
Well, you know, it's sometimes maybe we take a day off, not from releasing a video, but say we got 2 filmed in one day, you know, maybe take a day off. And when you're traveling, it becomes difficult. You've got to just find a way to manage your schedule. And we don't edit videos till after the kids are in bed. Then we're not like ignoring them, so we can go work on our channel. We're always spending time together. You know, usually if we go to the store, we're all going together. We're going to go do something together, go to the park or do something with the family, and that's not going to normally show up in the video. So I think it's just spending a lot of time together.
Spend a lot of time together. It's like, we never even hardly go on dates. Because I love the kids so much. I'm like, no, bring the kids. He's always like, let's go out together. I'm like, no, they can come too. We're always all together.
Maybe what do you do?
I think, so we're a little different. We don't daily vlog. And I think maybe it just needs to be stated that vlogging doesn't necessarily mean daily. Like you guys are doing daily and that's awesome. And I think probably it started with Shaun because he daily vlogged, but he doesn't even daily vlog anymore. So to be a vlogger doesn't necessarily mean every single day, which helps with our family because we aren't filming every day. And also I think anytime you have kids involved, there's so much content to film. You know, the ones that recently broke up did not have any children, and I think then it would become much more difficult if you're only filming each other all day long. I think that would feel intrusive and probably start feeling semi-staged. Where with the kids, inevitably, with 6 of them at the house, somebody's having a meltdown or somebody's fighting with the sister, you know, something interesting is happening.
We don't film that.
That doesn't have anything to do with me. So there's lots of content there. Also, I just think the best part about what we do is work as a family, and the worst part about what we do is work as a family. So, you know, it's a very difficult and it's a balancing act, managing when I'm mom and when I am the boss, you know, and when we're working and when we're not working. And I think it's just, as vloggers, like that's a daily balance. Like you always have to kind of give and take, and it can depend on the day. I mean, when you're on vacation, some days it's like you just want to be on vacation and you want to do us. And then other days you know that you're on work vacation, you know, and you're working that day and you're going to be filming 3 or 4 videos or whatever. So I think it's just a very delicate balancing act all the time.
Hey Brian, this is a good question for you. What do your high school buddies say about you now?
You know, it's funny because I don't keep in touch with a whole lot of people from high school. I recently had talked to a friend and they stated that they saw my videos. And I was like, were you surprised? And they were like, not at all. No.
He's not, and he's still even mentioned that he was Mr. MySpace.
Oh yeah, I was voted Mr. MySpace. So I was kind of already all over social media, and people knew I had this crazy outgoing personality. And when they found out I was on YouTube, they were like, no, we're not surprised at all.
I'd say the opposite for me though. I don't think people ever suspect that I would ever share my life on YouTube, but.
Same here. We didn't even was around. We're like grandparents on YouTube. Hey, Christine, your family channel is consistently one of the topmost channels on YouTube. What is it that these viewers see in your family? Like, what is your secret?
It's hard to
Give us the secrets.
Well, I think one thing we do that is maybe a secret, I guess, not really a secret, I don't know. We try to be unique. I don't copy anybody. I really try to just do whatever I want. I've done that since day one when I really started doing the channel. I was just like, what should we do? You know, let's make something cool. Let's make something fun. Let's, you know, make an interesting vlog. I think our first vlog, our 24 hours with 5 kids on a rainy day, I just woke up that morning and I was like, I'm going to make a fun video about our kids. It's going to be our first vlog. And it's going to be great. And it's California. It's always sunny in California. Well, that day it was raining, and I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously? It's raining, what are we gonna do today? This is gonna be like the dumbest video ever. And so, because I'm always determined to do things and I never take no, I'm like, oh, it's raining, I'm still gonna video, because I had it in my mind the whole week. I'm like, I'm gonna make a vlog. And so we made the vlog, and I'm proud with it because it's got like almost 200,000 views right now. And I kind of thought it was a boring video, but I mean, it's just what our life was like. And we didn't do more than 10 vlogs, I think, over the next year, just a few vlogs. And all of our other daily videos have just been fun things, like you kids playing with toys, going to water parks, just whatever they are. And now we vlog once a week on Mondays, but I don't know. We just try to keep it unique and interesting.
Very good tip. You have something different to that?
No,